That's my mistake. There we go. There should be audio now.
Okay, I'll check.
Apologies to the live stream. I'll go back to the start actually because it's just one slide back. So welcome again to those who obviously didn't have audio on the live stream. This is Unit 1.7. We did have an announcement, but I'll probably go over that again later on towards the end. So operating systems and system software is what we're going over today. So operating system, known as the OS, programs that tell a computer hardware what to do. The user interface. So we have an example of Windows Command Prompt and Apple Mac GUI, which stands for user interface. The communication between the user and the computer. These are typically command line or graphical user interface. Command lines are the most simple form of user interface where users type commands into a prompt, which tell the system what to do. Most modern computers have a GUI, graphical user interface, which uses icons to represent the programs and files. The user runs the program through a touchscreen or mouse-controlled pointer. When the screen decides to be operatable. Okay, back to file management. So file management is where computers store files and data in hierarchical folder systems. This is efficient and allows for quick navigation. So here we have the top level project. Under this we have location 1 and location. And underneath the from top level you can go down to folder. Folder you can contain other folders, so you could have, this could be about, I don't know, my event, for example. Here I have recordings. This is why I've gone over this again, just for so I can make a recording out of it. I need to edit the last couple of weeks, so people can get important information instead of some yabbering on at the start and end. And you can have another folder, for example. Each week I'll create a presentation, so you can have a presentation folder, and within that you create folders for each lesson. You have images and presentation files within those. That's how they hire. It just makes life a lot easier to find all your files, folders in one location. Like some people do desktops and end up making a mess. So what other features do our operating systems offer? Voice. I'm not going to say this one here, Amazon's, just because I have one in the room, and that will trigger it to say anything else. So increasingly, users commands to devices such as Amazon's, I'm just going to put it that way, Google Home, and Windows Cortana, which people don't tend to use as much these days. I know some people use it. I did experiment with it, but it wasn't. Although that one there is very responsive, and I'm not willing to say it because it will trigger as it's right next to me. Another function is memory management. The OS controls available memory, moving programs to and from secondary storage, virtual memory to RAM, which is random access memory. This is what we covered in, I believe, 1.2, or no, 1.3 actually. We covered about RAM and virtual memory. Basically, that's the process of when you're not using a program, moves it to your secondary storage, your hard disk drive, which is used as virtual memory to store it there whilst you're not executing anything and you're not using the program. Multitasking. Often, users have more than one program running at once. In reality, each CPU core can carry out one task at a time, but the OS alternates between the programs to make it appear that multiple tasks are running simultaneously. So again, like we did in 1.1, I explained about different types of cores. With cores on there, have a quad core, have 4 cores. You can carry out 4 tasks at a time. But it will switch between all the different open applications you have in order to be able to do that, which is why if you have a single quad-core CPU, you tend to suffer a bit when using multiple applications or even multiple windows with Google Chrome. But not only the CPU suffers, but it also feeds off a lot of memory. Excuse the projector here. We've got a new update from AltspaceVR, and for some reason it keeps bugging out. I don't know if anyone else can see that. If not, I'll try and reset it. Okay, we have some sad emojis here. I thought this was going to happen. I might have to enable the old version of it. Okay, so it does actually have a function to say it's stop stream time. It starts. There we go. It does update you now, saying that it's trying to start the update. Oh, it's such a stream. Sorry. Oh, excuse the noise in the background. That's a button off. I'll try and turn that off now. Right, I am back. Sorry about that, everyone. Oh, and the screen's gone off again. Here we go. Oh, there it's back. Okay, sorry about that one. Just had to turn that off because it's very distracting noise and very annoying. It was some sort of can music because the battery on the driller charged. And for some reason, it's on the garage. Anyway. And it's disconnected again. Oh, no, it hasn't. Okay, peripheral management. We're not having a very good day today. Hopefully it will improve as we go along. So peripheral management. Computers must communicate with a large range of external devices, so monitors and scanners. Those are peripheral devices. The OS uses drivers to correctly pass data to the device and ensure correct function. So a device list on a computer, which contains printers, monitors, scanners, tends to be CPU, any piece of hardware really that has a function will be on that list. And you tend to have driver updates, which is what we're going to go on to next, which is drivers. A driver is a piece of software which provides communication between the CPU and a peripherals device, like a printer or graphics card. And you tend to have updates for graphic cards these days. They update them every week, which is a pain because you have to update them all the time. But when you update them, they run better. So I recommend you update them, unlike Windows updates. So next we're going to go on to user management. Multiple users can have accounts on the same computer, each with their own files, settings, and applications, protected with passwords, of course. If you do put password protection on it, which you should when you're using a computer, even with a phone, you should set a PIN just in case. The OS will ensure that only users who are granted permissions to use files or programs belonging to other users. So it restricts you unless you're an administrator on the computer. Of course, you can access other people's files to see what's stored on there. But as a standard local user on your computer, you won't be able to access other users' files. So hopefully that should move on to the next slide now. This is just a general stuff of what operating systems do. Okay, on my screen, I've just lifted my heads up. We've got the next slide on. Oh, here we go. So this is just a sum up of what operating systems do. So you got your operating system functions. It does memory management, input and output control, resource allocation, error reporting, processor management, and management. And it runs in a system of user, application, operating system, hardware, and they all intercommunicate with each other. And that's really how your operating systems work. Do you think we have a question slide next? And I'll double check to see if there's any live comments from YouTube in a second actually as well. I don't tend to check it and it should be turned off, but I know the other day we had a couple of comments on there, so I am going to open the panel when I find it. Here we go. If you have any questions, you can be sure to raise a hand and I'll answer them in 1 second. Just going to check the YouTube. According to the software, we have nothing on there. So if there is any hand raises, we will take your question. If not, we at 11:22. We will go on to the next section. Give that about 30 seconds. I say 11:22 my time. It'll probably be another time your time. I know Karen, I think it's 3:21. Obviously, we all go by the minute, but not the exact hour. And Thai for coming today. It's nice to see some people in here. There's a lot of events at this time, so there's a lot to compete with. So we're going to stop the hand raises there and close that. We're going to move on to system software. It is a bit slow, this new update on the web projector, but it is useful. It does tell you when it's connecting on the computer as well, if you want to check that out. So utility software. Utility software supports the operating system by performing a limited and specific task. They are used to manage specific actions of the system or undertake maintenance operations. So we're going to go through maintenance operations and what some of the utilities are. Okay, that was quite fast this time. We seem to be catching up on the old update here. So encryption software, we've mentioned this before, and again, it is a system utility software. On Windows, I believe the default encryption is BitLocker, which is what I use to encrypt my USBs, and I think you can also encrypt files. In order to keep data secure, especially outside threats, data must be encrypted. Encryption software uses complex algorithms to encode data so it cannot be read without the private access keys. We mentioned this last week. I've also done a bit of studying myself on private access keys again. Private access keys is something you'll have, then you'll be sent a public key alongside that. You put the two together, you get your key to unlock the file if you have sent a file to someone. But general encryption is for, well, locking away your files on your computer drive, or even locking up your USBs so that when you take it somewhere else, someone nicks it, put it in, if they don't have the password or the BitLocker key, they will not have access. And obviously, if you've taken it somewhere else, used it on another laptop, and you know the password, you can have access to that. So the next part is disk defragmentation. We are going to go over this briefly in a while, and I believe we have a video on the presentation that I've got from YouTube. So I am people watching the live stream. The environmental volume is off because of copyright, so you'll still be able to see, but you won't be able to hear it. So for about 3 minutes later on, you won't be able to hear anything for those who are on the live stream. But I will explain disk defragmentation beforehand. It's just a video for those who are here who want to understand a bit more. It works, that is. So next up we have data compressions. It allows files to be made smaller by removal of empty space or through compression algorithms, lossy or lossless. Lossy and lossless, lossy files tends to be a compression of files, so it's a smaller file size, but you don't lose previous files, I believe, or previous quality. Lossless means, lossy, you lose file size and you lose quality in the file. Lossless means that you can optimize the file size, but I believe you can go back to the original. So you can change an image from 300 dots per inch to 72, but also reverse that. I will be going over that at some point because that is a completely different subject to computer science. So I might cover that at some point. There's another course I've taken in my school, which is coming to an end in the next 6 weeks, actually. Backup. That's another thing you should always do. I'll explain that in a minute as well. In case of hardware failure or other computer problems, data should be copied to an external media so it can be restored if lost or damaged. Different backups shown later. I put that there just to remind myself. I am going to show you different types of backups, which I believe I showed you one or two lessons ago as well. But that is what the video is on, actually, backups. And the defragmentation was actually a GIF. So the defragmentation, the people on the live stream can understand, but it's the backup that is shown visually, but not with audio. Antivirus continually scans the system to find, quarantine, and clean up any file infected with viruses. Now, this is the one thing that you should always do: have antivirus and anti-malware. Different companies I would recommend, but I'm not going to put any names out just because people have the different preferences. But always make sure you have an antivirus and an anti-malware, because the antivirus gets rid of files infected with viruses. Now, the anti-malware continually scans the software from being introduced to the system. So when something's downloaded, it will detect the fact that there could be malware on it, and it will quarantine it and clean it. So you want both to basically protect yourself from viruses and malware. Malware tends to be when you download stuff. Viruses tend to appear after you've downloaded stuff or with files that you've created. You can create your own viruses, but I'm not going to say how. And I don't have much knowledge on that, but you can. Unfortunately, that's the sad part of the world. You can create viruses which causes harm. So we're going back to defragmentation now. Over time, as new files get added, old ones get deleted, and files increase through use. Parts of files get separated around the hard disk drive. So, A is your standard, say your hard disk drive. So you've got your file A, which you can't see very well there, file B, file C. Now, the different files are the different colors. So that's how you got your hard drive. Now, you've added something to file A. You've now, I don't know, that could be a Word document. You've added a bit of data to it, but it's saved it at the end, the available space, the free space, saved it on the end of there. Now, in order to improve performance, this defragmentation application shuffles file parts back into order and moves all free space to the end of the drive, which is represented here. This improves data access times and overall system performance. So what it does is it moves file A back with file A, file B is then the next one, file C is then the next, and it'll put all the relevant file content next to each other. So when it tries to find file A, instead of going, right, we've gone to the start, we found part of file A, then we've got to go through all of this to find the next part of file A, it's all there at the beginning, which obviously increases time and system operation performance. I believe the next thing to show about that, let's give a better representation of that. I will have a look at my screen. Okay, we do have an example of implementation when the web protector starts to work. Okay, here we go. I don't know if you would see that very well. Also, when I show you, but basically, I'm just going to give a quick explanation. This dark blue data at the top, as you can see, is all bunched together. That's the stuff that's already been defragmented, so it's all bunched up together. Now, this blue stuff is a file, and the white space is files that have been deleted or corrupted. So what a defragmentation does is it moves all the relevant files together and moves them all up, so the free space will all be down the bottom afterwards. There's no space in between, so that when it's searching for a file, it doesn't have to go between each of these blank space gaps. All the files are there ready to just search through, which makes it obviously the data access a lot quicker. So if I can actually find the Chrome that has that on. Okay, here we go. So this top one here is the bottom one for a minute. Oh, when it goes up on the screen, so I'm busy looking at that. Got this new presentation slow. Okay, here we go. So it does, let's see if it's working on the screen. Okay, it's working on the screen. It's just a bit behind when sending through the web projector. See, it starts to eat through the different things and clears up the gaps between the files. But obviously, representation, because now dodgy and doesn't work very well. So we'll go back to the presentation slide. As you can see right there now, it's cleaned up most of the files, and there's all that blank space at the bottom. You can see there for a split second. Hopefully that explains it quite well. I need to go back to the old version of this for next lesson. Although switching between applications was fine. I don't understand that. Anyway, we're on the next slide of my screen, but we'll wait for it to catch up. Here we go. So this is the different types of backups. I believe I used this image last time. So you've got full backups, which means you back up everything every time you back up. You have your differential backups, which means it backs up all the different changes since the full backup. So you've done a full backup here, which means it's backed up and it doesn't need to be done. And every time you add a file or make changes, it will back that up until you do the next full backup. So say you do a full backup here, it means it would only need to back up that top disk instead of everything else. Incremental backup is just everything you've changed or added since the most incremental backup. So you back up the first three, you've added your one. Now that one's been incremental backup. You got your next one, and so on. And there's a video that explains it a bit better. And I do apologize for those who are on the live stream. Obviously, I don't want copyright strikes on YouTube. Sorry, well, Google owns it. So hopefully, if this video works, we'll try and give a visual representation on how backups work. In fact, whilst we've got everything loading, I will close Google. Hopefully that's on the screen now. Here we go. Okay, the web projector is not me today. Okay, the video is a bit slow catching up, so I'm going to try and optimize that quickly. See what's going on here. I'm going to put it at lower video quality, hopefully it'll still be clear. And we'll try and turn up that a bit. You may have to just listen to the audio as the video isn't Okay, we're going to stop that there because that just explains the 3 types of backups. And thanks to the person who made that video. Sorry for those who are on the live stream who didn't get to see that, but hopefully the visual representation. So we're going to open again for questions. Anyone who is on the live stream, I think it's only one viewer now at the moment, so just to double check during that. If you have any questions, you can leave a comment and I will try and catch the comment. If anyone has any questions on here, you can ask. If not, I think we have the quiz next, which I did last week, which went quite well actually, and people quite enjoyed it. So we'll go for the quiz after this. We'll go till 11:40 for the hand raises. When it hits 11:40, we'll do the quiz. And there's some announcements after that with obviously what I'm going to do next week. Special thanks, quick announcement, then we have the goodbye. I see nothing on my feed on the computer, so we are going to turn this off after another couple of seconds. Right, we're going to turn the hand raisers off. There's no questions. If you do have any questions, you can raise your hand right there. We'll try and get back on over anything we need to. So now we're going to go on to the fun part of today. We're now going on to quiz time. And hopefully the delay won't cause any issues. Just try and get rid of the mouse there. So we've got our first question, which should be relevant. Which one of these is an operating system function? So hold on, I'm just going to grab me laser point. We have file management, system performance, calendar, or search engine. So you can use your emojis on your wheel to find out the different things. This is a tough question. I made this difficult on purpose. So both responses, we've had smiley faces and the file management is the correct answer, but system performance, the operating system does help with. So technically both answers are correct with that. That was just a trick question I just put. So yes, both answers are correct for the operating system functions. It moves on to the next one now. We'll have the next question up. Which one of these is an operating system? So you have Google.com, Firefox, or Windows XP. Yep, you're all correct. Windows XP. It was a great time to have that. Was a brilliant memory from back in the day. Google.com is a URL, also a domain name. So it's nothing to do with the operating system. Fox, I believe, is a search engine. Chrome and firewall is something that protects your ports on your computer and network. So the next question, what is a full backup? All files are backed up every time. The files that have been the last backup are copied. It's an overall system performance, or files will be spread over the platters. And you are correct to go with these smiley faces. It's all files and folders backed up every time. And I believe we only have one more question. What is a user interface used for? Collections of programs that tell the computer, means of communications between the user and the computer, sorts computer files, or controlling the available memory. Okay, we have two answers here. We have the clapping and the smiley face. It is both again. It is a collection of programs. And some of them can tell the computer what to do, like the command lines and the command prompt, and means of communication between the user and the computer. So you can communicate to the computer as from the user, and you can tell it what to do. So again, that's got two correct answers on there. It was another trick question. So we're going to go on to what's here next week. And next week is kind of a celebration because we're on the last lesson of Unit 1. So at the end of the meeting, I'll go over what we're going to do next lesson. Next week, we'll be looking at not operating systems and system software. I knew I was going to do that somewhere. I always copy the previous one, and I knew I hadn't. So that's today. That's not next week. Is laws, I believe, ethical laws and stuff to do with that. Hold on a second. Rejogging my memory. Yeah, it's to do with the laws behind computers and how they use, so like copyright, believe Freedom of Data Protection Act is on there, Freedom of Information Act maybe on there, and just the legal information on how you should use and handle a computer. At the end of the meeting, I'd like to give us people. So tonight, I'd like to thank Karen over here and Dragoness behind the camera. The camera can't see that, but Dragoness is here as well. For helping on air with moderating the event. I'd like to thank any those who have attended, newcomers, and those who attended last week. So I hope you enjoyed your time back. This has gone off, so I'm just going to read it off the presentation. I'd like to also thank any newcomers who joined the event, for those who attended the event last week, and I hope you come back to learn more computer science again soon. I does say finally I'd like to thank everyone who attended tonight, but I do have an announcement page, so hopefully we can get that back up because it's quite important. So we'll just try and get that up. We do have 15 minutes to try and get this on, so we will try again. Space to update it again. It should be on according to the system. Oh, and no, we finally got it back. Here we go. So we have an announcement today. When it comes on the screen, wishing me time to prepare. If it does come on the screen, he says, I'd like to give another special thanks today. And thankfully you, the camera's able to see her as well. I'd like to give an extra special thanks to Karen, who's been moderating over the last 7 weeks of me being here. She's been a great help with helping me move into the community of AltspaceVR. It's given me a great family of friends to spend my time with. Without Karen and other great friends of mine like Dragoness and Karen, I wouldn't be doing this today. So thank you very much to everyone. I'd like to thank Karen again for all she's done for the 7 weeks now, and has been able to moderate at this current time. We hope that you all enjoy we all hope that you enjoy more time in the real world, whether that be AltspaceVR or here. We never know what the is. So take care of yourself and stay safe. And I hope you enjoy your free time. And this is part of the reason we are looking for new moderators and presenters. One, we want to get some more events involved, and we also want to have some new moderators and people who want to get within the experience of moderating an event, whether you're new or experienced. So thank you very much again, Karen. I just realized it's not actually 7 weeks. We have 7 weeks of lessons. We have the introduction lesson as well. And that's actually 8 weeks, which is a month and a half. So thank you very much for that. I believe this is the last slide now. The last slide, this actually works. So this is the goodbye slide as usual. So if you have any questions or want to stay, you can have a conversation. And I hope you enjoy your time here. And I'll see you all again soon. Thank you very much. We should have about 10 minutes left. I'm just going to shut the live stream off. And again, thank you very much for all the effort you put into this, Karen, and for getting me on here.
Merlin, thank you. Let's give Merlin a special round of applause here. He's a student in the UK. He's put this awesome presentation together every single week. He's done a great job. He's going to be a teacher, and this is wonderful practice. He's doing fantastic. So way to go, Merlin.
Thank you very much again. And enjoy your time in the real world, whether that be here or in your own world. We never know these days. So I am going to unrestrict the floor now so you can travel where you want to and toggle unmute everyone.